I know it doesn't seem like it to a lot of you, but I really enjoy reading. I've read over 75,000 pages this year, and I'm extremely proud of what all I've gotten done reading wise this year. I've read over 250 books and really enjoyed a lot of them, and I've really hated some of them. So today, I figured, it's the end of the reading year. Why not share some of my picks with you guys? Let y'all know what exactly some of the best books I read this year were. So, in today's video, I'm going to tell you my top 5 books for 2022. My top 5 favorite books. I could not put these in order if you begged me to. Like, they are so vastly different that I just legitimately can't put them in order. And for those wondering, what kind of books, what kind of books do these entail? One of them is a manga, one of them is a fiction book, one of them is another fiction book, and then a book about business and a book about life. I just don't strike people as a reader, but in today's video, I'm going to be telling you my top 5 favorite books for 2022. Book number 1, and again, this is in no particular order because I could not order these if you asked me to. We're going to go by when I read these in the year. Book number 1, Hunger Games. Hunger Games. It's a phenomenal book. If you haven't read it and you're over age 14, I'd highly recommend reading it. It's one of the best fiction books and fiction series that I've ever read. I read this back in 2020, and then I'm rereading it now 2 years later. I read it a lot more carefully now, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, the second time reading it was even better. You would think that the first time. That's how I know a fiction book is great. When it's even better the second time, it's just a great fiction book. It's a great series. I have all 3 of them. That is one of my fiction books. It's a great story, very well paced, right? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I'm not a book reviewer. I've never made a single book review on my channel. It's a good book. It's one of my favorite fiction books. It's definitely in my top 5 favorite fiction books, and it's in my top 5, like the entire series. All 3 of them are in my top 5 favorite books. If I had to pick, just one, it's this, because this is the one I'm using for the thumbnail. You know what I'm saying. So I read that in either January or February, but now we're moving on to a little later in the year. I don't remember exactly when I read this, but I know that this is one of the books that I read and seriously enjoyed this year, and it was after I read The Hunger Games. And I'm talking about YouTube Secrets by Sean Cannell and Benji Travis. This is a phenomenal book on all things YouTube, and really just all things like social media and business related. It's a phenomenal book. It contains a lot of great tips. It's not exactly a cheap book. Like, I personally paid, I think $15 for this book, and it's not like, it's not a super long book. It's just under 200 pages, but it's really great. It offers some great insights for YouTube. And as the cover says, the ultimate guide to growing your following and making money as a video influencer. This book is great. If you're looking to do YouTube, I would highly recommend this. I actually have a video coming soon where I, suggest books for YouTube, because there are some great ones. I read a couple great ones this year. In fact, I own another one. I'm looking at it right now. However, it did not make my top 5 favorite books. I'd probably say it's in my top 20. That'll be in the video. I'll explain which one. YouTube Secrets, solid book about business, solid book, and one of my top 5 favorite books of 2022. Now, moving on for that, over this summer and just August and September, I guess you could say, I found myself addicted to a series, a manga series. No, it wasn't Attack on Titan. I read that one also. This is better. This is much better. I'm talking about Assassination Classroom, and I stand by this. This is the best manga I've ever read. I made it my goal at the start of 2022 to really branch out what I was reading and read some things that aren't exactly in my comfort zone, read a romance book here or there. They were both terrible, both of the ones I read. But this is really good. This is honestly one of the best pieces of fiction I've ever read, and I seriously considered buying the boxed set in Books A Million, but I was like, you know what? I would rather not spend $175 on a boxed set of books. However, at some point, I probably will. Just realize that at some point, I'll probably own this whole series. It's a great series. I mean, like, if you read manga and you haven't read this, drop everything you're doing. Stop watching this video. If you have read this before, smash the like button. If you haven't read this before, go ahead and smash the like button. It's an incredible series. I cannot stress enough. Like, yeah, there is a bit of gore in it. I will say that. There's a bit of gore, no more than the Hunger Games. There are some jokes made surrounding a particular character. The character is female. Do I really have to say much more? No, I don't. It's manga. You can guess. Use your brain. It's a great series. The ending, though. The ending. Sad, good, great, phenomenal series. It started great. A lot of manga that I've personally read starts great and then slowly gets worse. Or it starts terrible and slowly gets better, but then ultimately, ends up crashing again at some point. This is incredible. This was great all the way through. There were only 2 volumes that were boring. 2 volumes out of I want to say like 21 or 22 volume series. This was incredible. If you haven't read it and you read manga, you really should read it. Even if you haven't read manga before, I'm of the mind that this could get you into manga. Like, this is such a great series. If you've never read it, you really should. So that's it for Assassination Classroom. The next book is the life/career book, and that is From Paycheck to Purpose by Ken Coleman. This is such a good dadgum book. He wrote another book called The Proximity Principle, and I also loved that one, and I also read that one this year, but this was better. I think that this book was better. I love this book. This is such a good book about just generally being able to, like it says here, the clear path to do. It's a great outline, right? It's just great. I've read some of Dave Ramsey's stuff, and reading his stuff, I heard about Ken Coleman, and I was like, you know what? I'll try it. It's fine. And it ended up being one of the best books I've read. As it's in the top 5 books of 2022, you can kind of tell that I like this book quite a lot. It's really, really great. Outlines some great stuff about careers. I'm a forward thinker. I think about the future quite a lot. I stress about the future quite a lot. I've been trying to do that less lately. But this is a really, really good book about just finding opportunity, finding ways to find opportunity. And he does a really good job of mixing, like, this is a perfect balance of stories to not keep you bored, but, actual advice to keep things good. So that is a great, great book. Highly recommend it. Now, the final book. It's a fiction book. Probably saw me make a post or two about it on TikTok. This dadgum book is one of my favorite books that I have ever read. Not just in 2022. Like, this book probably is in, like, my top 10 books ever. Okay? Like, out of all of these, probably only 4 of them, or maybe 3, would make it into my top 10 books ever. I think I read more this year than I've read in the last 3 years combined, and I do legitimately mean that. Like, I've read a ton this year. The final book, which I read about a month and a half to 2 months ago, is Bullet Train by Kotaro Asaka. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. Holy crap. I didn't know that the movie was based off a book. I have not seen the movie. I am skeptical of seeing the movie because of this book. In fact, I probably won't, because this book was dadgum wonderful. Plot, great. Characters, some of the legitimately most compelling characters that I've ever read about in a book. Some of them die really quickly, yes. Is the book gory? It's kind of gory, yeah, at times. But I mean, no more than Assassination Classroom. Is the book profane? There is a little bit of profanity in there, but not a ton, not as much as the movie. So just generally, in terms of pacing, writing, like flashbacks, likes characters, character arcs, like, it's such a good book, and I didn't think I'd enjoy it this much. This was such a good book. If you like reading fiction, if you like reading, this is kind of a mystery, honestly. If you like reading, you should read this, and just let me know what your thoughts are. I want more people to read this so that they can give me more opinions, because a lot of people really like the movie. I think you'd really like the book if you like the movie. I haven't seen the movie, so I literally can't comment on that, but I'm going to anyways because I don't care. This is a great book. You should read it. All of the books in this list legitimately got like over a 9 out of 10 from me. None of them got 10 out of 10s. I do want to make that very clear. None of these books got 10 out of 10s. However, they were all incredible, and I highly recommend you reading all of them. Put them all on your Goodreads list. I know you are currently typing these things into Goodreads. These were absolutely great books, and this was an absolutely great year for reading for me. So thank you so much for watching. More book reviews coming soon. More reviews, just generally speaking, coming soon. More tech reviews. 2023, best year for Timmybug Productions on YouTube. Guaranteed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.